California is famous for sunshine, innovation, and freedom. But beneath its golden surface, the state hides some of America's strangest, most disturbing cult murder mysteries. Tonight, we're counting down the top 5 California cult murders that still have no answers, each case darker, stranger, and more unsettling than the last. From star-studded Hollywood hills to rural outposts, these crimes aren't just unsolved. They linger, casting a long shadow over families and investigators alike. Let's dive in. Number 5. The Children of Thunder Killings. Santa Clara, 2000. It's the summer of 2000 in Santa Clara County, where 3 charismatic men, Taylor Helzer, his brother Justin, and Dawn Godman, have become the Children of Thunder. Led by Taylor, led by a former Mormon, the cult believed they were on a divine mission to trigger the Second Coming. The victims were ordinary people swept up by extraordinary evil. The trio's targets included Selena Bishop, daughter of blues legend Elvin Bishop, and her mother Jennifer Villarin, alongside Villarin's partner James Gamble. The murders began with extortion. Helzer's group needed money to fund their spiritual revolution. Bishop was lured into the plot, then killed. The group methodically added bodies to the tally, including Bishop's mother and Gamble, ensuring no witnesses remained. Their modus operandi: meticulous planning mixed with manic faith. Victims were dismembered, stuffed into duffel bags, and scattered along the Sacramento River. What haunts investigators isn't just the brutality, but the psychology. A family whose guiding star turned to bloodshed, whose rituals masked a dizzying descent into madness. Extensive evidence, including chilling confession tapes and a murdered witness whose remains were only discovered through a bizarre tip, allowed police to arrest all 3. Yet, the story doesn't end there. Some believe others were involved, and Taylor Helzer's rambling prophecies continue to perplex profilers even in prison. The killers were convicted, but questions linger about other possible cultists who were never charged, and about how a devout Mormon missionary transformed into a cold-blooded mastermind. Those who knew Selena say she radiated kindness. Her loss echoes not only through a famous family, but through California's musical legacy itself. If Taylor Helzer hadn't confessed, would the search have ever ended? Or are there victims out there yet undiscovered? Number 4. The Cause Elm Street Murders, Salida, 1990. May 21st, 1990. Salida, California, a farming town. One Elm Street house becomes the epicenter of nightmares. What police find inside seems ripped from horror fiction. The bodies of Dennis Caldwell, Darlene Emmy Paris, Franklin Raper, and Richard Ritchie scattered across rooms in states of unspeakable violence. The killer, Gerald Cruz, leader of the Cause, a small cult promising spiritual rebirth through submission, a group of lost, vulnerable locals who followed Cruz's every word. Investigators described Cruz as a master manipulator. Members wore camouflage, hid in trailers, and lived on the margins, pledged to an apocalyptic future. Inside Cruz's home, police found masks, bomb-making manuals, and cryptic journals with signatures and fingerprints of all his followers, satanic literature lurking beneath the surface. No single motive was ever proven. Was it ritual sacrifice, punishment for betrayal, or a random eruption of cult-fueled anger? Many group members were questioned, but fear and loyalty kept witnesses silent. Cruz and close followers were prosecuted, but some mysteries remain unsolved. The camp, where the cult lived, masked figures seen fleeing the scene, and lingering whispers among Salida's residents who insist not all members were caught. Friends of the victims describe how Emmy Paris lit up every room, never imagining she'd be the subject of a true crime series decades later. Neighbors still wonder, did the cause have more followers lurking nearby? And will Elm Street ever truly find peace? Number 3. The Murder of Arliss Perry, Stanford, 1974. In October 1974, the campus of Stanford University, usually bubbling with academic rigor, became the scene of a grisly night that would stretch into decades of rumor and investigation. Arliss Perry, 19, a newlywed and recent transplant to California, went to pray alone in the Grand Stanford Memorial Church. Someone followed her inside. The next morning, her body was found, arranged in a grotesque tableau with altar candles and strange objects positioned around her. Though rumors swirled of satanic ritual and cult involvement, especially given the location, the case flummoxed police for more than 40 years. DNA evidence from the crime scene, collected on a nearby pillow and a candle, never matched any suspects. The case went cold. Multiple suspects passed in and out of focus. Perry's husband was initially considered, eventually ruled out. Over time, theorists, investigators, and cult watchers speculated wildly. Was the murder tied to the infamous Son of Sam cult? Was it part of a rash of college ritual killings? It wasn't until 2018, after advances in genetic genealogy, that police tied the longtime church security guard, Stephen Crawford, to the murder. When officers came to arrest him, he took his own life, leaving behind more questions than answers. Perry's family spent decades haunted by the echo of that church. At every anniversary, students and staff gathered to remember her. But the why was lost forever. Police hinted that Crawford may have had help. One more unidentified figure in the church that night remains a ghost in the records. Number 2. Marcus Wesson, Family Massacre, Fresno, 2004. March 12, 2004, Fresno, California. A custody dispute triggers a nightmare. Police enter a nondescript house to discover 9 bodies stacked in a back room. 2 adults and 7 children, many under the age of 2. The killer is Marcus Wesson, the patriarch of one of California's most haunting cults. A man who believed he was a messiah, controlling his family with a mixture of fear, faith, and violence. Wesson orchestrated his family into an insular commune, marrying off girls to himself, fathering children through incest. His authority was total. Neighbors were aware of his odd rules, of constant coming and going, but no one could guess the tragedy within. When relatives tried to intervene, Wesson ordered the killings, then emerged from the blood-soaked house, still proclaiming he'd acted in God's name. Police found not just the bodies, but a lifetime's worth of diaries, cult symbols, and carefully maintained isolation. Surviving family members revealed years of psychological torment, secrets so deep they're still unraveling. Wesson was convicted, but the surviving members of his cult family remained deeply scarred, many choosing silence over sharing their story. Social services still grapple with the ripple effects on younger survivors. One survivor described Marcus Wesson's house as a place where love was a weapon, a phrase that lingers over Fresno's history. And perhaps most chilling, no one knows how many other children Marcus Wesson fathered or where they are now. Number 1. The Manson Family Murders. Hollywood Hills, 1969. August, 1969. Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles. The city's heart of glitz turns into a horror show. Charles Manson, failed musician, now self-declared prophet, commanded a ragtag family of drifters, runaways, and true believers to act on his apocalyptic vision. Over 2 nights, the cult slaughtered 7 prominent Angelenos, including actress Sharon Tate, at 8 months pregnant, and the wealthy LaBianca couple, leaving behind scenes so shocking even hardened detectives wept. The sheer symbolism. The group's grisly messages scrawled in blood, helter-skelter, rise, on the victims' walls. The randomness, no personal motive, just the orders of a charismatic madman convinced the murders would ignite a race war he called helter-skelter. The killers were recruited at Spawn Ranch, a decaying Hollywood set. Young women and men chosen for their loyalty, not their capacity for violence. Clues abounded but didn't coalesce. At first, police treated each murder as separate, blinded by the sheer magnitude. Only by linking the blood writing, similar weapons, and confessions from members did detectives finally crack the case. Though some believe other murders attributed to the family remain unsolved, hiding within the confusion of late 60s Los Angeles. Charles Manson died in prison, his disciples scattered and infamously chronicled. Yet LAPD still investigates potential connections to other unsolved killings. And Helter Skelter continues to inspire cults, movies, and nightmares nationwide. Sharon Tate's friends still maintain a memorial garden in her honor. A quiet act of resistance against the darkness of that summer. Even now, new generations of detectives chase lost Manson victims across California. How many bodies will the family's legacy claim before the last secret is uncovered? These 5 cult murder mysteries crackle with unsolved questions and fractured families, each more disturbing than the last. Some were solved through sheer luck or sudden confession. Others remain open or clouded by legend. The patterns are clear. Charismatic leaders, promises of transcendence, and ordinary people transformed into instruments of tragedy. What links these cases is the way ordinary moments, a prayer, a family meal, a drive home, turned into scenes of darkness shaped by belief and manipulation. These stories aren't just about crime. They're about how far humans will go to belong, to obey, and sometimes to destroy. Which case do you think will finally be cracked, and what keeps these secrets locked away? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss. Don't forget to subscribe to Real Mystery Reports for more strange, dark, and profoundly human stories. New true mysteries every day.